You can find this course on schooldesign.net. Join on Facebook website and group. The full course you can watch on Skillshare. So the next construction, and this time we will try to make some stadium, a football stadium. As you can see, everything is around some place where people can sit. Construction look quite hard to do, but believe me, it's only a few clicks and only few plugins used to create such a construction. Okay, so first we need to start to draw some reference lines. So as you can see here on the screen, you have all the dimensions, so without problem you can draw it by yourself. So as you can see, we have the green area where the players play, and we have some reference for people to sit. This is the main contour, and after that we'll make the follow on the reference line. Here I will just make the fast preview for all the dimension. So I just use something like this. I will just zoom in so you can see each dimension exactly, what is the number, what is the value. So this is only some value that you can add the same, or you can put anything you want. It is only good to keep the proportion. So here we have the vertical dimension. On the left side you can see that here I just put the horizontal, and this is the first step for creating these parts. So I will just move the value outside so it will be easier. And there is also the upper area after that. So it is everything, it is connected together. So again, there you can see the vertical dimension, and on the left side you can also find the horizontal one exactly here. So this is how the reference area for sitting look like. As I mentioned before, you can do the same, or you can just add your custom value or even the shape, because this is only for giving some reference for all the stadium. The shape is not important in this exercise. Then I just copy the section here, and after that we will use this line to make the follow me, and this is how it should look in the next. After that I will just convert this into the components, because later it will be easier. Then we need again some reference lines, so you can just make the offset. I just put 15,000 millimeters for offset. Those lines will be also very useful for creating all the construction for the roof. Okay, and now I will just remove this offset. First we need to create some reference line, so it means that reference shapes for our construction, for our glass that will be built in the next steps. So to do this, I will use the Bezier toolbar, so for creating some mind shape for the section. So we can use the classic Bezier curve, or for example uniform B-spline. So it depends what you prefer. You can create your custom line. Okay, so this will be the main shape for the lower construction. And of course we still need one more for the second one. In this exercise it is not so important which one you use. You can use only one curve for all the construction. I will only show you that you have some different options. You can build it in a different way. So this will be for the upper construction. Then we can convert it into the components, both the line, and of course we need to move them to the center of the line, because for all the time we will use only half of the line. The second one will be created by mirroring. So I will move the reference line here. And maybe also we'll move it in this place, because we'll draw everything from the 0 axis. Of course we also need the reference line for the follow me. And what is the most important, as I mentioned, we will only use the half. The opposite we can easily remove, also the surface and the edge from the inside. We can also connect everything with the weld option in the plugin. Also we will need to rotate the reference to shapes for our main construction. Everything we will build here in the 0 axis. So first I will select all those lines, and we need to add the JS power bar and the smart weld to connect the lines together. And we can start with the building the first glass, and to add some cutoff. So it means that we need to also create some pattern. So first we need to draw the surface. The length must be the same, so it is 31,000, and we will create with the same value this line, because everything we will build in the next steps we will have to transform it from the straight to the bent one. So this is the length for our bend, and of course we need also to know the length for our main shape. So this is why I need to put the line up with the same dimension. And now we can create the rectangle, and we can close it to get the surface. So now we can convert it and reverse before that, and now we can convert it into the components. But first I will just rotate the shapes. Okay, so now it's in a good orientation. So we have two shapes. I will just move the lower one to the right to separate them. Yes, it is in one axis. I like to check, because sometimes I can rotate or move something in the space in different axes. Okay, we can convert it into the group. after that I will just rotate it to the up, and I will also draw the first line, and I will convert it from the one shape to the bend. So, as you remember, we always need to draw the line, the reference line on the red axis. So this is why I need to again move it to the red. Then we select the correct profile shape. We need to explode it, so remember to do it before that, because plugin will not see anything which is treated as a component. Remember always to set the correct start point and end point. Sometimes you will also need to reverse the faces, and this is our first wall. So after that we will just move it to the 0 axis. We need to rotate it also. As you can see, I just rotated with wrong angle. This is because I didn't lock the axis, the value with the keyboard on the same. As you can see, always remember to use the keyboard to choose the correct axis for rotate. Then I will just put it in the 0 axis. Sometimes, as you can see, this is quite problematic, especially if your components have 0 axis in a different position. So the best will be add some reference object, and after that I will just move it with the keyboard, and I will try to snap it to the 0.0 axis. Okay, then we can remove the square, and we need to draw the line on the red axis. Always remember to do it on the red axis with the lock, using your arrow on the keyboard. And after that we are ready to convert it from the straight to the bend. Check if the end and start point is correct, and we have one of the top construction. So after that we can add the mirror with S4U, but first I will just move it maybe somewhere there. And also with the S4U mirror, always remember to lock your axis, and of course remember to keep the control. Then, as you can see, we have both elements connected together. So I will move it to the right side because I need this line later for the next reference. We can explode both of the elements, so you can see that there are still the lines, so we can smooth this object together to remove all the edges. And now we can add the shape for the glass. So I will create them in a very simple way, because from the top view what I can do is to add some contour, but first I will just make a group for that. Then I will move the reference line, because it will be useful for creating also the shapes, the pattern, but now it will be hard to snap them, so I will just draw the simple line in the middle, and now we can hide it. And we have both of the lines, so we can even find the middle, because we need the middle point. I will just unhide everything. So now with the wireframe from the top view, we can start to draw some shapes for our glass. So I will just use some very simple shape, something like few lines connected together. I will just remove the surfaces. After that, I will rotate everything. So we need to find the center. I will just copy and divide it into 10. Then we can do the same by mirroring all those elements. I will select all of them, mirror with the S4U. I will just remove all the useless lines. Now we can move it up. I will just unhide everything, and now we need to project all those contours to our surface. So how we can do this? Of course, there is a very useful tool in the sandbox. We select the contour, and now we have the project or drop to the surface, and voila, we have the cutoff on our surface. And for example, right now I can select everything and I can use them, for example, to add the glass here, and this is how it looks. So it was quite easy, as you can see. Then we can move it to our main steady on shape. So I will use also this line to snap it in the correct position. So now it's look nice. Okay, now the second construction. Those construction will be more complicated because I'm gonna use the Voronoi plugin. It's a free plugin for create in a very fast way some really nice looking shapes on our surface. So first I need to check the length, and with the same length I need to draw the rectangle, and also I need to take the length from this profile. So after that we can start to draw the rectangle with the following dimension. Okay, and then we need to reverse the surface. And we will use the Voronoi plugin. How to use the Voronoi plugin? First, I will just make the copy of this surface because I will show you 3 different variants. Now we need to use HS power bar to add some simple guide point or reference points. And with the mouse we can just add them to our surface. After that, you will notice that when you finish adding the points, those points will be still selected, so you can deselect it, and we can add triangulate points. They will be added to the new layer, so it is a good solution. So after click OK, we have some quite interesting object. This is with the triangle. The second options will give you with the figure connected from 5 edges all the time. And the last options will create you the circle between edges. So first we need to explode those elements, and after that you can see that in a very fast way we can add the circle inside, and we can set the offset, the number of points, and the weight. So offset, it is obvious. Then we have the number of points. The more points we add, then the more edges we will have in our circle. So here, for example, I have right now, if I will check it, only the edge. So we need to select, and in the toy selection, where it is, let me find it. We have it here on the top. So again, when we select and only select the edges, we have 30 edges. With the more points, you will notice that there is also more edges. So with the 55 numbers, when we select only the edges, you will see that there is almost 75 edges. So more smooth elements. Sometimes this could be useful. If you need more smoothness, you just add the more points. Then we have the weight. The more weight, it will give you the bigger objects, the bigger elements will be between all the edges you selected. So you can see that there is smaller space between edges and between these figures. So this is how the Voronoi work. So now you can create your custom shape with the Voronoi, or with, for example, custom options. After that you need to add the offset, and for that you need to select everything and you need to add some thickness, something like this. So then we need to select some of the triangles to add the glass materials. So I will, for example, choose those one, and you can see that still in some parts we need to add some lines. So for example, here, because we need to divide those triangles into the smaller one. And again, we need to create the offset with 250 for me, and we need to move it also up with the push-pull, and we need to, with the rubber, we need to remove those elements. Okay, then we need to add the glass, and I will just remove all the surface that we have in the rest position. Then we need to convert everything into the components, or we can make it as a group. Then we need to rotate it. So first the rotation up, and we also need to rotate it in those axes, and we need to check dimension for the profiles. It is the correct length, and also we need to create the same length for the line. So as you can see, it's shorter, so without any problem we can use the rescale. I need to only select the middle one, and after that we can use the lines to bend the elements. Again, check where is the glass and how is the start and end point place. Then we need to move it up. After that, I also again need to rotate those elements. Remember to add the lock on your keyboard. Then we need to draw the line at the bottom. So it should start from this point. No, this way. I just select the rectangle instead of a line. We need to switch to line. And remember to lock with the red axis. And then we can select the elements, the straight line and the bended one. We need to carefully check the start point and end point. And we need to rotate it. And we can accept it. And we need to wait a few seconds for update, and it's done. So now we can do right now the mirror with the S4U. Remember to lock to red axis and add the control for copy. We can connect both and convert them into the group, and right now we can edit and assemble with the rest. Of course it will be quite small, but this is also not the problem. We can use the rescale, but first I will select those points and move it here. And now with the rescale we can make it a little bigger. Maybe I will just put the value manually, so it will be 1.05. I will check on the both sides, but I see that there is a problem on the right side, so we will also need to move it to the right side. Yeah, I just do it manually, but you can also snap it by finding the same point on both construction. With the scale, I will just, not this way, but the construction, I will just move it a little higher. Okay, and it's work perfect right now. Okay, but there is still one thing to do. We need to use FFD plugin to add this modifier and to change the shape. So with those elements, it wouldn't be a problem because I can add 3.3 points. Double click on it and I will just move it up. We need to wait a few seconds, and here is the final result. With those constructions that we recently made, it will be more complicated, because as you can see, I will move it to the right. I will add FFD modificator, and I will just move those points up, and you will notice that nothing happened. Yeah, this is a problem because everything we have in a group or in a components, we have another component. So first we need to explode everything. So check if you can select everything individual in this components or in this group. And after that, if you have everything exploded inside, and if you will go outside the components, then you will notice that FFD will work. So I will select all the points from FFD and I will move it up, and you will notice that now it is calculated and the construction is changed. So this is what you would like to get. So again, view from the top, and we can add those construction to our center, and then we can add FFD by right click on it, add the FFD. I don't see the points, because I just removed them before, so I need to again select, I need to select everything and add 3.3 FFD. Then we have those points, and from the left sides we can move it up. I will just put in the same height as those points from the previous geometry. It's still not enough, so I need to move all those points up, maybe even higher. Okay, and we are done. So as you can see, this is our final construction. As right now you can notice that it wasn't so complicated.